been a while since I streamed down here. I did actually stream yesterday. On Mixer. Yeah, I know. I didn't choose. It was Xbox. So, yeah. But I'll try to stream more here. That means I'll play more on my PlayStation. But, yeah, we're playing Dreams. This game took forever to come out. Just, you know, doing a tweet for that you guys know I'm actually streaming. So yeah, let's just have an epic gamer moment over here. Sorry for the cringe. So, okay. Do you want to allow your user profile inclusions to be public to the web yeah, that's fine. Why would I not want that? I want people to see stuff I make. We believe in giving credit where it's due, but we need your explicit permission to this. Would you like us to display your online ID alongside your questions in any promotional materials or on our live streams? Yeah. If you guys ever use anything I make, which... Why would you ever use anything I make? Oh, okay. Sorry if you randomly hear people talking in the background. Okay, so control scheme. I don't know why this is bringing me so much nostalgia.
In the beginning, nothing.
Flashbacks.
No movement, no sound, complete emptiness. Then, something. A speck, an idea. The idea could be anything. It could be everything. Light.
Wow.
Color.
Epic.
Shapes.
Wow, look, it's a rectangle. Okay, what is that shape?
Sounds. And most exciting of all,
Dreams?
life.
I'm trying to make this roll credits, okay? I don't like the way that's looking at me.
Everyone can conduct this power. Everyone has
A dream.
an imp.
Oh, for
Imps
Christ's
are
sake.
the key to the power of the Dreamiverse.
Vibrating my controller.
The Dreamiverse teems with their energy, waiting for you to choose your very own.
It's like selecting a Pokemon.
Which one is yours?
Thank God they don't come with like names. If not, I would feel really bad for choosing one of them. Oh, it's only these? I saw one that looks cool. I'm really tempted. I think I might go with the blue one or the green one. No. Okay, you make like a little things around you. You're making this hard, guys. Come on. No. Okay, we're gonna go with the blue one.
That one belongs to you.
Okay, you're my slave. Oh, I control it with the motion controls? That is weird. It's been forever since I used motion control on a PlayStation.
Now to see what your imp can do. Press and hold the options button, and your imp will snap to the center of the screen.
I love how I can just torture this thing until it dies. Oh my God.
Don't be afraid. Press and hold
I
the
think the
options
imp is
button.
afraid. Look at that little thing. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry, imp. Let's press the
Yes,
options button.
great.
Oh, okay. Should I use the sticks or should I use motion sensor? Should I use the scuffed one or not the maybe super scuffed one? Vibration strength? Okay. Imp sensitivity. That seems pretty sensitive. What happens if I do plus? I'm just wondering. It looks like it's in so much pain. I'm sorry, little imp. My PlayStation camera isn't actually set up correctly. Because I don't use it. Like, I never use it. So I just need to set it up. That should be good, right? You guys don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, okay. Sibby is sitting down on couch now. Okay. Yeah, what about camera? What does camera do? Okay, display. Show watermark? I can turn off the watermark? I'll put it 9, I guess. I'll leave it there for that. You guys know it's in dreams. Okay, I guess this.
Your imp responds to the smallest movements of your wireless controller.
Smallest movements.
That's because it's attached to the controller's motion sensor.
I
You
can
only
tell.
need to move the controller a teeny tiny amount to get your imp to respond. Go on, move your imp around a bit. Think of the light bar on the front of the controller as a flashlight beam conducting your imp.
Trying. I mean, it's not super.
You see
like,
that little cluster of creativity?
Oh, it looks
Move
like
the
hamburger.
pointy part of your imp to touch it. That's it. Now, collect those two clusters at the top and bottom. See how that feels. Yes, magnificent. You can also nudge the imp against the edge of the screen to recalibrate it. Anytime
Someone's
your
calling
imp gets
me.
unruly, press and hold the
San
options
Antonio,
button
Texas.
to recenter it.
The fuck? Okay.
Now,
Wait,
let's
wait,
play
how do I
with the
recenter?
dream
Oh
words.
god.
See if you can catch all those dancing shapes. Unleash those colours and sounds.
How do I recenter it? God damn. Oh, okay, that's good. So I just have to ram into the wall. Okay. Oh. The mustard gas grenades of World War II, 1942, colorized.
Very good.
That's why it was like really off course because I kept on smashing it into the wall.
You're a natural.
Yes, very easy gameplay. Yes, definitely. I'm wondering if I should use the PlayStation Move controllers.
It's a symphony. See how your
Symphony,
imp
it's an
can affect
explosion over
everything
here.
it touches.
It's
Wandering,
amazing.
soaring and leaping. Playing through the wilds of your imagination.
Stop making this like
You're
really.
amazing.
Okay, yeah,
You're
you can do that.
wonderful.
Make me have nostalgia
You're
for
a
Little Big Planet.
dream surfer. You're...
Did I just destroy the fabric of reality?
Oh no. You found the wall of doubt. Don't worry,
Bruh.
everyone doubts themselves in the beginning. See that loose brick?
I want to make a Flappy
Try
Bird
using
game,
the
but with
pointy
guns.
tip of your imp to grab hold of it.
Oh, this is trying to be super
That's
inspirational.
it.
I'm just here.
Pull that wall down.
Hello, Chizzy Dizzy. Oh! He do be kind of working out,
Look
though.
at that brick. Who does it think it is? Get rid of it.
Him was never seen again. He was lost in the black hole.
Your idea's getting away. Chase it down.
Okay. Eh. That looks like a Little Big Planet texture for holding on to things. Stop making me have nostalgia. God damn it. If you guys want some backstory, Little Big Planet
It
is my favorite
should
game.
be in here somewhere. Ah, more
I'm smart.
barriers. Cast them aside.
The only thing is that this narrator, it's not as good as the Little Big Planet one, okay? You have to admit.
There it is. Come on, Dreamer. Keep up.
I don't like being called a dreamer. More of a gamer, if you ask me.
Dark.
Imp looks so...
The only source of energy is you. What can you do?
Whoa. Ah. The imp is so much pain. Ah. What the? Oh God. I am an abomination.
1, 2, 3. Dream.
We have light. A good start. If only we had a way of exploring this place.
Oh. Ooh, we're going to enter another dimension.
Now we're really getting somewhere.
Yes, I know who you are. Chizzy Dizzy. Looks like it's in so much pain. I'm an abomination.
There must be some way to get up there.
I'm never turning. I'm an
Great work.
abomination.
We're so close. Look at that seedling. The Dreamiverse loves to help things grow.
The triangle's like, please, I have a family and kids, don't possess me. Yeah. Oh yeah, I control it with the camera.
That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing
God,
what a
help
little
me, please,
nurturing can do. Almost there.
Peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo. It's vibrating. You good? Triangle, I'm not possessing you though. How are you moving on your own? That's illegal.
We're here at last. Dreams, your vast, vibrant, sublime universe of possibilities. Let's start dreaming.
This little fricker. God, please help me. Oh. Do I get to play a game yet? It's actually not really even a game. Do I get to play story mode? Then I'll make my own games.
This is my home space. I like to decorate it with fantastical creations from my journeys through the Dreamiverse. My little cone friend here is happy to help you wander around. Ready to dream? Head over to the glowing orb to open the main menu.
Freaking Naruto running. What do you have over here? A rock.
This composition is so wonderful. It defies description. I love the evocative nature of this one.
Yes, makes me think it's a circle.
Where will you begin? Choose DreamSurfing to start playing, or choose DreamShaping if you want to start creating.
What do we do? Let's go to Dream.
Your first creation will be your home space. But before that, I need to teach you the basics of moving around.
Alright.
My imp can help you with that. It's got some quests for you. Go over and say hello.
Okay. Talk to your abomination.
Aha! That's a quest. Complete the first batch of ink quests to begin your dream-shaping journey. Finishing them will earn you your very own home space.
I'm gonna use the PlayStation Move controller because those will probably be easier for this game specifically. So let me just get that ready. God, this is gonna be very hard to play, but who cares? I've been waiting for this game for so long. Oh, you need to be charged? Oh no, it's just turning on. Okay. Oh yeah, you guys won't see anything right now because I'm getting it ready. I know they don't need to be charged. I've been charging them for like the last month because I don't use these, man. They don't do anything. You know what I mean? Okay. Let me just go to the settings. No, not that one. Okay, we gotta do this first, I guess. Okay, int.
Onwards with the first quest. You need to know how to look around, so let's start there.
Whoa, look. Let me go to settings or something, okay? There we go. Control scheme, okay? Social, what do you mean? I'll just do this, I guess. Oh god! Forgot about that. This is making me dizzy.
Wonderful! Now let's see about moving around.
Boom. Destroy the galaxy. Boom. Destroy civilization. Boom. Boom. Boom.
Fantastic! Sometimes you'll want to move while looking in one direction, otherwise known as strafing. Sometimes you'll want to move while looking in one direction, otherwise known as strafing. Great job!
Wow, thank you, random lady. Yeah, I know you're here, Scully. Skelly, where are you on Twitter? Like, what the hell? It's been like 12 years since you were on Twitter. Where are you, Skelly?
Now to get up close and personal with objects, you can use GrabCam Zoom.
You're dead? Well, where are you? Oh, out of bounds? I am sorry, game. Oops, I am out of bounds. I did something illegal. I did the illegal going out of bounds.
Excellent.
Twitter's boring. At least keep it, but we can still talk in a relatively easy way. I thought you were dead, like legit dead, bro. I thought the scaly died.
Time to give GrabCam Pivot a whirl. This helps you examine things from all angles.
Nope, go back. Just trying to check some stuff. Okay, you know, frick that. Okay. Oh no.
Time to give GrabCam Pivot a whirl. This helps you examine things from all angles. Whoa!
Yeah, but I can't find your at, Skelly. What's your at?
Let's really go places. To move across the scene very quickly, you need to know how to zip.
I don't like the sound of that. I forgot where you're at is, because you haven't, like, I haven't seen your messages. Noob. Get wrecked,
Dreamer,
you're a noob.
it is with great pleasure I now bestow upon you your very own home space. When
Oh
you're
my god, I
ready,
have a house.
head through the magic door.
Yes, I will listen to the stranger that says to head through the magic door.
Welcome to your home space, your personal corner of the Dreamiverse, which you can transform in any way you please. Other dreamers can visit your home space to take a peek into your imagination and what makes you tick. It looks a little bare, doesn't it? Let's make it more you.
Alright, if it's gonna make it more me,
Visit my imp to get started.
Why are you at my house?
Aha! A new batch of imp quests. Completing these will give you tools to edit your home space and win you prizes you can use to decorate it. Most excitingly of all, finishing them will earn you access to DreamShaping in the main menu.
Okay, I'll listen to you, random lady. Bam.
Okay, Dreamer, let's get started.
Why do you call me Dreamer?
How can we use this block to get that prize bubble?
No, he's breaking in. Press square. Oh. Boop. Oh boy. Oh boy. Boom. Boom, what do we get? What do we have?
Bravo! And now there's a prize higher up. How are we going to get the puppet up there?
Look, this is how we're gonna do it. How was I supposed to do that again? Press circle. Press square. Yeah, okay. Trust me, I'm kind of dumb, but it's okay. I've got this figured out. How do I go up? Okay. controls are very hard. Okay, okay, that's how you do it. Haha, look, we've gotten.
And there's another prize, right where the block was before we moved it. If only there was some way to undo the change we made.
Wow. Oh, okay. Okay, he's just dead.
Good work. There's another prize bubble for you. This one is higher up.
Wow, what will
If we could rotate that block, it would make a good ramp.
Oh boy. This works, right? Sorry, my dad just barged into the room. I'm back again. The boy's back from the dead. Okay. Boom. Look at this. Boom.
The next prize bubble is even higher up. Maybe we can make the ramp bigger to reach it. Or scale it up, as we say in DreamShaping.
Ooh, kind of thick. Boom. Okay. My man just died. My man. Hey, look, it's a galactic cluster. Oh no, I've broken all my legs.
Now, let's discover the secrets of one of the most useful tools in the whole Dreamiverse. Clone. By cloning objects, you can quickly build up large creations and fill your home space for less cost.
Okay. Let's come in a bit. Okay. Let's Okay, this is really awkward. Okay, no. Alright, let's do that. And rotation like that. Just press next. Over to your imp on the block. Hold L1 and R2. Up. Boom. I'm a professional at this game, did I tell you? I hope I didn't make it too steep. Please don't tell me I made it become like a super jump.
Marvelous.
As you're done, press X. How many quests are there?
Now let's make some room so we can build with all the lovely prizes you've won.
I have brain damage. Send you DM, please respond. That's the face it gives off. Alright, delete tool. Boom. Me whenever you get cancelled on Twitter.
Now let's dive into the Dreamiverse and transform this space with the treasure from your quests.
With the X button on search, select search with the X button.
Look at all the wonderful things you found. There's lots more where these came from. And look at the things the folks at Media Molecule left for you in stuff.
Media Molecule?
This is where you'll find all the finely crafted, fabulous creations by Media Molecule, the creators of dreams.
Media Molecule are kind of gamer though. Bounce pad.
That looks fancy. Where's nice for it to go?
Next button. Press circle to unequip. Okay. That's fine. Next step. Okay, okay, that's good, thank you. Goodbye, close. Boom. Alright, Media Molecule gamers, ooh, alarm clock, I would like that. Wait, okay, now it defies reality. Wait, I can make it bigger. I learned. I'm not dumb. How do I make it bigger? Okay, we're gonna move that again. We're gonna do what we in the industry of gamers call a okay, it's gonna be what we call a pro gamer move. Just camera control. It's so freaking hard. That gives me a heart attack every time I hear that. Boom. Bop. Bop. Let's go. What's that? Ooh, a fan? That's nice. Boom. I want to test out my new get over here. Oh, it's right, nothing. I'm an abomination.
Well done, Dreamer. DreamShaping is now yours to explore. Simply head to the main menu.
I can create.
Well done, Dreamer. Dream shaping is now yours to explore. Simply head to the main menu.
I can create.
Simply head to the main menu.
I can create. 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 I Wrong place. Frick. I need the little body. Actually, no. Let's go into DreamShaping. Let's make a potato. Or like, no, we're gonna make my avatar, not YouTube one. That's gonna change soon, okay? Trust me. I could change it right now if I wanted to, but I'm too busy.
This is DreamShaping. Here you have the power to manifest anything you can imagine. Anything. Music, a story, a piece of art, a whole game, even something there isn't a word for yet. Create things from scratch.
That looks like
or
abuse.
remix something another dreamer has made using the Dream tools. Since you're new, I'd recommend heading to the Dreams workshop, where my friends, the Dream Crafters, will introduce you to the secrets of creation.
Alright, cool. Can I make a potato or something, or like a pumpkin?
Welcome to the Dream Shaping menu. Here you can create something brand new, browse for something to remix, or learn some techniques in the Dreams workshop.
Let's start fresh. Alright, gamers, my gamer brethren.
In a moment, you'll be creating and editing your own scenes in edit mode. Scenes are like levels in a game, or scenes in a movie. They're made up of elements. Elements are like props, sets, music, effects, and characters. Anything that you can build inside a scene and save to the Dreamiverse.
Is my input character
Scenes are connected together to form dreams. And these dreams can be found when you go DreamSurfing.
I kind of want to go DreamSurfing soon, but like right now we're gonna you know.
Welcome to Edit Mode. This is a fresh scene full of potential, where you can build anything you can imagine. Before you go wild with the power of DreamShaping, let's just do a very quick imp quest to get you off on the right foot.
I mean, this did say there were gonna be a lot of tutorials. Okay, let's look at their characters. Let's look at... bathroom. That's a lot of stuff. Boom. Okay, I guess this is the boring part. Sorry. Results not found. Okay. Alright, little fucker, come over here. Boom. I am a chicken. Oh, my pain. Please, God, help me. Bird in the toilet. What he be doing in there? Bird is stuck in the toilet. Yeah, edit mode. Quick save button. Okay. Minimize. Go. Be gone. Tools. Modes. Gadgets. Guides. Show hide. Stuff. Rewind. Hot. It's rewind time. Oh, this is like all that stuff. Ew. Okay. Okay, how about we go here again? Dreamers. What do they have? Oh my god, that looks cool. They're the one that made that sloth game? Wow, that's cool. If you hear any weird noises, that's just air conditioning.
This is where you'll find all the things that you've made or won. Over time, it'll become an awe-inspiring display of your progress.
I want to start with, yeah. Halo theme? Whoa. What just happened? Okay. Well, you know what? Let's go DreamSurfing. Exit creation, I'm sorry.
Welcome to edit mode. This is a fresh scene full of potential. Now that you've had a peek into the Dreamiverse, there are...
Let's go surfing, alright? I'm bad at editing. We'll do that another time.
DreamSurfing.
Shut up.
Here we can explore the wilds of the Dreamiverse. Slipping and sliding through the strangest
Can I
and
please
most
talk to the
wonderful
old
ideas
narrator?
and creations.
You know, the one from Little Big Planet.
Lose
He was
yourself
cool.
in the
Not saying
kaleidoscope
you're not
of
cool.
games, animations, music videos, and all sorts of worlds and experiences made by dreamers just
That's
like
one that they
you.
don't have a name of, even though it's just abuse.
DreamSurfing is a never-ending, ever-changing stream of
Sometimes
dreamers'
it can be on top of the name
imaginations.
and words.
Let's try it
And
out.
sometimes it's like under it.
Welcome to DreamSurfing. Explore all that the Dreamiverse has to offer, organized into playlists to help you find what you like.
I'll play that later. Art therapy, nah. Let's do this. The first game we played here is Minecraft. Of course it has to be. Not too bad. Steve looks pretty good. Music sounds exactly how I'd expect it to, you know? Minecraft. went DreamSurfing there. No, goddamn it. Wait, okay, what's the community jam?
Need a little inspiration? When we need new
Lady,
ideas
I'm
for
not
the
trying to
Dreamiverse, we have a jam. We thought you might like to do that too. Every so often, we set a topic we're curious about, and anyone can make and submit a dream on that topic. Or you can just play through the current entries and see which ones you like. When time is up, we'll feature the dreams the community loved the most. Go on, give it a try. This is where you can see all the previous winners of the community jams.
Ooh, science fiction. Okay, that looks cool. Ooh, this is a video? Made the same engine that made that toilet? What the hell? Wow, okay. Frick, I went to the wrong place. Play a grandma game. A Pip game. Okay. You know what I meant. Brit. Oh my god. I thought this game was made by Moscow. They showed it in some of the trailers. I mean, like, what? Can I play with these controllers? No. Good. Thank you for not letting me use these controllers. Reminds me of Captain Toad. You can jump, so I mean. Maybe that's a difficult thing. I want to remix this game. Look at. Okay, how can I remix? Right, okay, we're actually going to go to the other place. We're gonna agree to DreamShaping? Okay, we have to complete the impost, okay.
Welcome to edit mode. This is a fresh scene full of potential, where you can build anything you can imagine.
Okay, because we didn't save, now we gotta do this all over again. I don't care, it's just... Isn't that how I delete? It's triangle, okay. Okay, what? How did I go up? I forgot again. It's like that, right? Yeah, okay, that's good also. I'll choose a character. I'll choose another character this time. You already did that thing last time. We have Kevin from up. They're telling me that we can play as pup. Oh my god. Oh god. Okay. Doesn't expect me to see this. Kevin, what the frick? Didn't expect to see Kevin. What the see what? Right there. Okay. Let's go back to edit mode. Now we need a quick save. Yeah, let's just name it that. I don't care. I literally just do not care. Okay.
Dreamer, you've just made your very first creation.
Wow.
The Dreamiverse is yours.
It's a very shitty creation. Wow, this is my creation. Wow, this is very shit. Wow, really shit, man. The fuck? I just checking my phone real quick. Okay, nothing interesting. To my space, yes.
Welcome back. If you'd like to learn a little more about customizing your home space and maybe unlock some new tools too, just pop over to my imp.
Where can I make stuff? Where can I like sculpt? Probably keeping sculpting behind a paywall. Oh no, I lied. Legit, not a paywall. I was thinking of something else. They wouldn't do that. Trust me. If you start talking about these tutorials, if you give me a tutorial on how to choose a tutorial, I will.
So, you want to learn the ropes of dream shaping, but you don't know where the tools are on the shelf, or how to use that intriguing gadget, or you want to know what that strange contraption over there does. Dream crafters, assist us.
Yellow submarine.
Ah, hello architect. Hello engineer.
Hello, Queenie.
Why are we squirrels?
Just a temporary physical form for you. I like it. It's cute.
Well, thank you. It's better than the last one.
Yeah, at least there are no tentacles this time.
Now, show this dream shaper how to unleash their creative power.
I am brand
Done.
new.
Follow me, Dreamer. Oh, it's so exciting that you're here. I have been really looking forward to this.
There's so much to show you. Gameplay, animation, art.
There's no limit to what's possible.
Welcome to the Dreams Workshop. Have a browse of the tutorials, masterclasses, and how-to videos we've got here. If you're new to dream shaping, maybe try the Start Dreaming tutorials first. They'll get you up to speed with all the basics of dream shaping.
This is advanced.
There's nothing quite like sculpting something from scratch. But you'll need a good grasp of the tools to avoid coming unstuck. So let's get down to it. Maybe Cuthbert will learn something too. Go to the Assembly menu. Press the square button to open it if it's closed, and select the Modes menu with the X button. Select Sculpt Mode with X. Its icon has some 3D shapes on it. Every time you enter Sculpt Mode from the Modes menu, a new sculpture will be created. You'll also notice that when you're in Sculpt Mode, everything outside the sculpture will be blurred and greyed out. This is to help you focus on what you're creating. You can adjust visual feedback in your preferences, which you can find in the Options menu. When you first enter Sculpt Mode, the Shapes menu will open automatically and the Smear Shape tool will be equipped to your imp. Try smearing a shape now by holding R2 and moving your imp around.
Test something out. Oh no, actually go back.
Now that's out of your system, undo all of it by using the left directional button. By using this tool, we'll help Connie get across the first gap. Move your view a bit closer to the action, looking side on at the space between the platforms. Make sure you can see the platforms and that your imp can reach them. We want to build an organic structure for Connie to walk on, so let's pick an appropriate shape. Select one from the Shapes menu, and you'll see it on the end of your imp. Use the up and down directional buttons to scale it to an appropriate size. While you have a shape on your imp, you can use the grab cam to zoom in and out. Just hold
that looks so
R1
wrong.
and
No.
use the left stick. Now position your imp next to the platform on one side of the gap. Then hold down R2 and use the motion sensor function or the left stick to smear your shape in the gap so that Connie can walk on it. If you want to have another go at it, just undo using the left directional button. Feel free to press and let go of R2 as many times as you want. Each press will create a new edit within your sculpture. Bear in mind that all the edits you make are part of a single sculpture, even if they aren't connected. This means that in assembly mode, they'll behave like a single object. Why not try out different shapes to see what works best? Try holding L2 as you sculpt and use the left and right sticks to rotate the shape.
Right, we're gonna sculpt.
Maybe try making something like a rock formation or a tree trunk.
The cool thing is, sculptures are automatically physical, so they can be walked on by puppets like Connie immediately.
When you want to try it
kind of
out,
hard to
switch to
confuse.
play mode in the options menu and get Connie to walk around on your sculpture.
Okay, I'll try.
When you're happy to move on, go back to edit mode and proceed to the next step.
Okay, I feel like this has killed my frames. Okay, that's not really that much better. Oh, we're gonna have to fix that. They can jump high, right? Right? Squared deal.
Connie's hosting a talent contest to find the best characters in the Dreamiverse. But she's a no-nonsense judge, and none of these candidates are up to scratch. Of course, Cuthbert's no use, so let's see if we can come up with something to impress her. Head into the dressing room, also known as edit mode, to get started. In this tutorial, we'll be customizing the appearance of a puppet. So we'll need a blank canvas to start. Go to the Assembly menu and open the Gadgets menu. Now open the Gameplay Gear menu. In here, find the blank Puppet Deluxe. The deluxe version is the perfect starting point for making characters. Select it with X and a blue mannequin will appear on your imp. It has built-in features like jump and possession animations, which the basic version doesn't have. Connie won't be impressed by a basic puppet, so make sure you select the right one. Stamp the deluxe puppet in the scene with R2 or X. Get its feet roughly on the floor. Connie for making characters. And open the Gadgets menu. Now open the Gameplay Gear menu. In here, find the blank Puppet Deluxe. The deluxe version is the perfect starting point for making characters. Select it with X and a blue mannequin will appear on your imp. It has built-in features like jump and possession animations puppet in the scene with R2 or X. Get its feet roughly on the floor, but make sure they aren't intersecting with it. Then press the circle button to unequip the puppet from your imp. If you need to, you can grab and adjust the puppet with R2. In the next step, we'll start exploring the puppet's inner workings. The puppet might look simple, but it's quite a complex gadget. So let's get to know it a little better.
Okay.
It's made up of many objects that have been grouped together. And just like any other group, it can be scoped into. Hover over the puppet with your imp, press and hold L1, and then press X to scope in. Below the puppet, you will now see its base and its logic microchip. If they're obscured by the floor, you may need to scope out and adjust your puppet's position. The puppet's body is made of sculptures, joined together with connectors. When scoped in, we can grab parts of the puppet to change its pose. Before we do that, find the button called Puppet Mirror in the context menu. Select this button with X, and your puppet will stay symmetrical when you pose it. Of course, you don't have to make it symmetrical, but it's a good way to select this button with X, and your puppet will stay symmetrical when you pose it. Of course, you don't have to make it symmetrical, but it's a good way to start. You can always add nuance later. When you move a part of the puppet, all the parts connected to it will also move. The root of the puppet is the... When you move a part of the puppet, all the parts connected to it will also move.
Okay. I just forgot what button to press. But oh my god. I'm sorry.
The root of the puppet is the pelvis, and every other part is connected in a hierarchy from there. For example, moving the upper arm will move the lower arm and the hand as well. But if you move the pelvis, the whole puppet will move. Its feet will try to stay in contact with the floor. So if you lower the pelvis, the puppet's knees will bend.
What am I doing to support
You can also rotate parts by grabbing them with L2. Use R2 and L2 to create a new pose for the puppet. Changing the pose can be a great starting point for a character. The pose could be confident, sad, scared,
Whatever I'm
or
doing.
aggressive? Don't
We're going
forget,
with the frog
you can
look.
undo any changes with the left directional button if you make a mistake. Use the grab cam to adjust your pose from different angles. Just hold R1 over the puppet to activate it. When you've finished posing your puppet, move on to the next step.
This looks so painful. I am sorry. Frog puppet. Yes, you're a frog puppet. Okay, we're gonna get your arms in that froggy pose. Okay, if you don't break, we'll try. Bro. You good, bro? Okay, that's good enough for me.
Now we've posed our puppet, we can start adjusting its proportions. To do that, we're going to use the stretch tool. Go to the Assembly menu, then open the Tools menu. Select the stretch tool. It's the one that looks like a double-ended arrow. The stretch tool works like the move tool in a lot of ways. But with the stretch tool, you can move parts of the puppet beyond the limits of the connectors. Try grabbing and moving the puppet's head.
Okay, sure. I'm sorry, puppet.
Notice the way the neck elongates and shortens. Now try it on the hands.
Oh,
This changes
I
the
see what
length
you mean.
of the upper and lower arm. Some body parts respond differently to the stretch tool. For instance, if you move the upper arms, the shoulders will broaden and the chest will expand. You can also scale parts of the puppet using the up and down directional buttons. I'd only recommend doing this to the puppet's extremities though, the head, hands and feet. Puppets are delicate contraptions, and extreme scaling and stretching can make them behave unexpectedly. But if anything does go skew-whiff, just undo it using the left directional button. If you know how to use sculpt mode, you could try scoping into the individual body parts to change their shape. You can find a whole tutorial on sculpting in the art tutorials. Have a play around with stretching and scaling and see what you can create.
I mean, I'm
Try
creating
making the
something
puppet
and
more
I don't like it.
cartoony or turn it into a monster. Test out your puppet in play mode to see it in motion.
I don't want to. I don't want to see what I've created. I think it's gonna attack me.
When you're done, return to edit mode.
I think this thing is going to attack me.
Rewind time with L3 to get your puppet back in position. In the next step, I'll show you how to color and stylize your puppet.
I don't like the way this thing walks. Hey, how are you, kids? My name is Uncle Aaron. What's the propane? Look at this.
Another way of customizing your puppet's appearance is by changing its color. We can do this by tinting it in coat mode. If you've played my tutorial on coat, style and effects, you'll already know how to do this. In the Assembly menu, go to the Modes menu and enter Coat mode. In the Coat Mode menu, open the Colours menu and select a colour for your puppet.
Well, because we're going with that frog life.
Now hover over your puppet and hold R2 to tint it with your selected colour.
That frog life do not be looking good,
The
though.
longer you hold R2, the stronger the tint will become. If you want your puppet to be multicoloured, simply scope into the puppet. Select a different colour from the Colours menu. Hover your imp over a part of the puppet you want to tint. How about the head? Now, when you press and hold R2, just that part of the puppet will be tinted. You can also use the tools in Style Mode and Effects Mode. Hover your imp over a part of the puppet you want to tint. How about the head? Now, when you press and hold R2, just that part of the puppet will be tinted. You can also use the tool to color the tinted colour. The longer you hold R2, the stronger the tint will become. If you want your puppet to be multicoloured, simply scope into the puppet. Select a different colour from the Colours menu. Hover your imp over a part of the puppet you want to tint. How about the head? Now, when you press and hold R2, just that part of the puppet will be tinted. You can also use the tools in Style Mode and Effects Mode. Try using Style Mode to change the texture of your puppet. If you don't know how to use Style Mode, there's an art tutorial which can help you. In the next step, we'll dive into the dressing up box. One of the simplest ways to customize a puppet is by adding accessories. But to make sure they move with the puppet, we need to group them with a body part. Before we do that, it's important to fully understand the concept of scoping in and out of groups and objects. If you've played part 4 of the Start Dreaming tutorials, then you'll already know a thing or two about using groups. Objects in dreams are often combined into groups, which can be treated like a single object in assembly mode. Groups themselves can also be grouped. This means that you can have groups nested inside other groups. Let's try scoping in and out of something else before we invade the puppet's personal space. Over there on the floor is a hat box. Make sure you're in edit mode. Now try taking the lid off the hat box. The whole box will move because the lid, the box, and its contents have been grouped. Undo the move with the left directional button to put it back in its place. Now scope into the group. Hover over the hat box, press and hold L1 and press X. Everything but the box should go grey and blurry. If not, make sure your visual feedback preference is set to all. This shows that you've scoped into the group and can edit its contents. Now you should be able to take the lid off the hat box. Inside is another hat box. Try taking the lid off this one. I think you can guess what will happen. This smaller hat box is also grouped with its lid and contents. Remove the smaller box and place it next to the large one. Now scope into this group by holding L1 and pressing X over the smaller hat box. The original hat box will go grey and blurry as we've scoped into a subgroup. Now you should be able to open the smaller hat box. What's inside? A lovely hat. Take it out and place it next to the smaller box. When you've done that, proceed to the next step. Now that we've taken the hat out of the box, let's try putting it on our puppet. First, we need to scope out of this group. To do that, simply hold L1 and press circle. That takes us back into the large hat box group. Now scope out again into the main scene by holding L1 and pressing circle. Pick up the hat. We seem to have a bit of a problem here. The hat is still inside the nested groups, even though it's outside the hat box. When you scope in and out, only you and your imp are moving in and out of objects or groups. Unless you're carrying something with you. Scope back into the large hat box group, and then into the smaller hat box group to get the hat. Now grab and hold the hat with R2, and scope out of both groups with L1 and circle while holding the hat. If you've done it correctly, you should be back in the main scene. With a hat you can now move independently of the boxes. That's because scoping in and out of a group whilst holding an object adds or removes it from that group. Hurrah! Now we can put it on the puppet. Grab the hat, hover over the puppet, then hold L1 and press X to scope into the puppet with the hat. Now scope into the puppet's head while still holding the hat. This is a shortcut for grouping two objects if you're already puppet. Whilst holding an object adds or removes it from that group. Now scope into the puppet's head while still holding the hat. This is a shortcut for grouping two objects if you're already grabbing one of them. Simply grab an object and scope into another object to group them automatically without having to select them. The same way that scoping into a group while holding an object adds it to the group. Now that it's in a group with the head, place the hat where you want it. Remember to check it from different angles using the grab cam to make sure it's in position. Press R2 softly to nudge if you need to make fine adjustments to the position of the hat. Before you move on, you should try out the puppet to see it walk around with its new accessory. Switch to play mode, possess it with R2, and take it for a wander. Nice. When you're ready to continue, go back to edit mode. Going to play mode and back to edit mode will scope you out of any groups. Remember to rewind time with L3 to get your puppet back in position. Then go to the next step.
I forgot how to do the group stuff that you just showed.
Okay, let's add some more accessories before our puppet's stage debut. Open the assembly menu and select Search, the button with the magnifying glass, to search for an element. Usually, you'd be in the Dreamiverse here, but for this tutorial, I've kept things simple and curated a collection of elements for you to use.
Thank you.
Take a look at some of the accessories in the collection. Select one you like with X. You'll now have your chosen accessory on your imp. Don't stamp it down yet, though. First, we need to scope into the puppet. You can do this even when you have an element from the Dreamiverse on your imp. Scope in with L1 and X, and then scope into the body part that you want to attach it to. If that body part is already in its own group, you'll enter that group. But if the body part is just a sculpture, then you'll create a new group when you stamp the object down. Once the accessory is in the group, you can adjust the accessory while you're there. Try adding some more accessories from the collection. Then it's important to test the puppet in play mode to check that the accessory is attached correctly. Here's another very important tip. If you ever want to remove an accessory, whatever you do, don't ungroup the body part. If you do that, you'll delete that group's connection to the puppet. And without the connector, your puppet's limbs will start falling off when you go into play mode. And nobody wants that. Instead, scope into the group containing the body part and the accessory. Then either delete the accessory or grab it and scope out. If there's only one object left in the group, it'll automatically ungroup, and the connector will remain safely connected to the remaining object. Play around with the things you've learned in this tutorial and have fun making a character. When you're happy, select the star podium from the tutorial collection and stamp it down in the outline that we've put in the scene for you. Then head back into play mode, jump onto the podium and see what Connie thinks of your creation.
We'll put a little gem on his hat. Look, I'm talking again. Probably end the stream right after this where I can learn more on my own without boring you guys to death. Help me. Please help me. All my parts are broken. What button do I press? Okay, there we go. Boom, I did it. Haha. Okay. I'm mature. So look, those are pecs. What do you mean? No, not that part. Trust me, I'll end the stream soon if boredom. I'll still be playing the game. Trust me, once I learn more about how to play this game, more in-depth streams coming soon. Maybe even gameplay making streams. Like that? That was an abomination. That was a plague against mankind.
Oh dear, it looks like Cuthbert is really stuck this time. In previous tutorials, you've edited the scene to help Connie reach Cuthbert. But this time, you'll be editing Connie herself, supercharging her with some new abilities to get past the obstacles in the scene. Bear in mind that this is a complex tutorial in which it's easy to make a mistake. If you do, remember to use the left directional button to undo. Now go into play mode and see how far you can get. Possess Connie with R2 and press the X button to jump. Oops, she can't even get over the first obstacle. So let's start by souping up her jump height. Switch back to edit mode and we'll get started. To change Connie's jump height, all we need to do is tweak her. So hover over her, hold L1 and press the square button to open her tweak menu. This is a puppet tweak menu. As you can see, it's jam-packed with different options.
Wasn't paying
What you need
attention.
to do is tweak her. So hover over her, hold L1 and press the square button to open her tweak menu. This is a puppet tweak menu. As you can see, it's jam-packed with different options. Thankfully, the setting we want is on the first page. All these settings control Connie's overall movement. We could make Connie run super fast or super slow. But nah, that's not gonna help her. A nice high jump is what we need. What do we have here? This slider controls Connie's jump height. Hover over it with your imp and hold X to grab it. Move your imp to adjust the slider to around 3 meters. That should be enough to get over that stack of blocks. The puppet tweak menu also has some really useful testing controls. Click R3 to start time and Connie will come to life. See what happens now if you hover your imp over the jump height slider. You can preview the jump, so you can get it to the perfect height without having to test it in play mode. Actually, I think you should dial it back to 2.5 meters, or she might overshoot the jump. You can make small adjustments to sliders by using the up and down directional buttons. Hover over the slider and use the down directional button to adjust the setting. Feel free to explore some of the other settings in the menu. If you're not sure what a button or slider does, just hover over it for a few seconds and a more info tip will pop up to explain. You can even adjust the strength of gravity on her jump. Turn it down a bit to make her jump more floaty. When you've got Connie's jump the way you want it, give it a test run in play mode. See how far Connie can get now. Then move on to the next step when you're ready to continue.
Fast. I'm gonna hear like an ungodly amount of speed, and I'm not changing it. So
Well, that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, Connie's new jumping skills aren't going to be much use on the next obstacle. And don't even think about making her jump over the top, because that force field will zap her in a second. Instead, let's give Connie the power to crouch. I bet she's always dreamed of it. If you're still in play mode, switch back to edit mode now. Rewind time with L3 to put Connie back at the start. To give her a crouch, we need to scope into her. Puppets are made up of sculptures, connectors, and gadgets that are grouped together. Hover over Connie, press and hold L1, then press X to scope in. When you've scoped into a puppet, you can see its inner workings. On Connie's back, there's a microchip gadget. It's called Connie's brain, and it contains all her logic and animations. Let's take a look inside. Hold L1 and press X over it to scope in and open the microchip canvas. There's quite a lot going on in here. The gadget I want you to look at is this one in the bottom right corner with the diamond icon. This is a keyframe gadget. If you've played through the Keyframes and Timelines tutorial, you'll already know all about these. Keyframes record changes to things in the scene. They store those changes in a gadget, which can be triggered using logic. This keyframe contains a crouching pose for Connie. Select the keyframe with X, and you'll see a preview of how it looks. Those dashed lines over Connie show that she's being changed by the keyframe. Press circle to deselect the keyframe and she goes back to normal. To be able to activate the crouch keyframe, we need to connect it to Connie's controller sensor. Then you'll be able to make her crouch with a controller button. In the next step, I'll show you how to do exactly that. To activate the crouch, we're going to connect it to Connie's controller sensor. If you've closed her microchip, scope back into her and then scope into the microchip to open it up again. The controller sensor is the large gadget on Connie's microchip. It has a controller icon on it. Open up its tweak menu with L1 and square. Now you have a microchip and a tweak menu open, you may need to arrange them on the screen. Make sure that the controller sensor and its tweak menu stay to the left. This is because they generate signals, and signals flow through gadgets from left to right in Dreams. You can also save the 3D space position of tweak menus and microchips, or pin them to the screen. using the buttons that appear at the top when hovering over the canvas. This will help you keep them tidy while you're editing logic, which is very important as it's easy to make mistakes. Now, let's take a closer look at that controller sensor. Ah, look, controller buttons. Just what we need. All playable characters contain a controller sensor gadget like this one. But the gadget can also be used for any situation where you want to detect button presses. To assign our keyframe to a button, we just need to wire it to the controller sensor. We won't use a circle button as that depossesses Connie, and X makes her jump. So how about the square button to crouch? Make sure you can see the keyframe on the microchip. Move the tweak menu with R2 if you need to. If you hover over the square button in the controller sensor menu, you'll see ports appear on either side of it. They're just like the ports you see on gadgets. Ports on the left are inputs, and ports on the right are outputs. Now, you need to be very precise for the next part, as it's easy to make a mistake. Carefully hover your imp over the output port of the square button, and press X to create a wire. Stretch that wire over to the keyframe, and connect it to the power port on the bottom of the gadget with X. If at any time you make a mistake, just undo it using the left directional button. Once your crouch move is all wired up, close the controller sensor tweak menu. Hover over the gadget and in the controller sensor menu, you'll see ports appear on either side of it. They're just like the ports you see on gadgets. Ports on the left are inputs, and ports on the right are outputs. Now, you need to be very precise for the next part, as it's easy to make a mistake. Carefully hover your imp over the output port of the square button, and press X to create a wire. Stretch that wire over to the keyframe, and connect it to the power port on the bottom of the gadget with X. If at any time you make a mistake, and press X to be very precise for the next part, as it's easy to make a mistake. Carefully hover your imp over the output port of the square button, and press X to create a wire. Stretch that wire over to the keyframe, and connect it to the power port on the bottom of the gadget with X. If at any time you make a mistake, just undo it using the left directional button. Once your crouch move is all wired up, close the controller sensor tweak menu. Hover over it and press X to create a wire. Stretch that wire over to the keyframe and connect it to the power port on the bottom of the gadget. Very button in the controller sensor menu, you'll see ports appear on either side of it.
This is hard.
They're just like the ports you see on gadgets. Ports on the left are inputs, and ports on the right are outputs. Now, you need to be very precise for the next part, as it's easy to make a mistake. Carefully hover your imp over the output port of the square button, and press X to create a wire. Stretch that wire over to the keyframe, and connect it to the power port on the bottom of the gadget with X. If at any time you make a mistake, just undo it using the left directional button. Once your crouch move is all wired up, close the controller sensor tweak menu. Hover over it, hold L1, then press circle to close. Now try out Connie's new crouch in play mode. See if she can make it under the second obstacle.
How do I escape all this?
When you're ready to continue, go back to edit mode. Rewind time with L3 and start the next step.
No, fuck.
Right, we're on to the final obstacle. There's no way around it, but it looks destructible. So we're gonna make a slam attack for Connie so that she can smash through it. We'll start by recording a pose for the slam. We can do this using a keyframe. Scope back into Connie and open up her microchip, if it isn't already open. If you've played my keyframes and timelines tutorial, you'll have a bit of a head start on this next part. Go to the assembly menu and open the animate menu. Select the keyframe with X. You'll now have a keyframe gadget on your imp. Stamp it somewhere in the scene with R2 or X. The keyframe records changes you make to objects and settings in the scene. It starts recording as soon as you stamp it. You can tell it's recording because your imp will change shape and colour. Now that we're recording, grab Connie's upper body with R2. You'll now have a keyframe gadget on your imp. Right, we're on to the final obstacle. There's no way around it, but it looks destructible. So we're going to make a slam attack for Connie so that she can smash through it. We'll start by recording a pose for the slam. We can do this using a keyframe. Scope back into Connie and open up her microchip if it isn't already open. If you've played my keyframes and timelines tutorial, you'll have a bit of a head start on this next part. Go to the assembly menu and open the animate menu. Select the keyframe with X. You'll now have a keyframe gadget on your imp. Stamp it somewhere in the scene with R2 or X. The keyframe records changes you make to objects and settings in the scene. It starts recording as soon as you stamp it. You can tell it's recording because your imp will change shape and colour. Now that we're recording, grab Connie's upper body with R2 and drag it gently down to the floor. Because we're scoped into her, we can move her body parts individually to create a pose. If we weren't scoped in, we'd move Connie's whole body. Notice that her knees automatically bend. Make sure her cone is all the way down to the floor so that you can't see her legs. Keyframes can record changes to anything, even tweak menu settings. So, just for visual flair, let's also make her glow. Hover over Connie's cone, hold L1 and press square to open its tweak menu. Because we're scoped in, this opens the tweak menu for the sculpture itself, rather than the puppet. All the settings on this page change the way Connie's cone looks. Look for the glow slider on the first page. Its icon is L. So, just for visual flair, let's also make her glow. Hover over Connie's cone, hold L1 and press square to open its tweak menu. Because we're scoped in, this opens the tweak menu for the sculpture itself, rather than the puppet. All the settings on this page change the way Connie's cone looks.
Okay, we're gonna redo this. We sort of screwed up here.
Go to the... Right, we're on to the final obstacle. There's no way around it, but it looks destructible. So we're going to make a slam attack for Connie so that she can smash through it. We'll start by recording a pose for the slam. We can do this using a keyframe. Scope back into Connie and open up her microchip if it isn't already open. If you've played my keyframes and timelines tutorial, you'll have a bit of a head start on this next part. Go to the Assembly menu and open the Animate menu. Select the keyframe with X. You'll now have a keyframe gadget on your imp. Stamp it somewhere in the scene with R2 or X. The keyframe records changes you make to objects and settings in the scene. It starts recording as soon as you stamp it. You can tell it's recording because your imp will change shape and colour. Now that we're recording, grab Connie's upper body with R2 and drag it gently down to the floor. Because we're scoped into her, we can move her body parts individually to create a pose. If we weren't scoped in, we'd move Connie's whole body. Notice that her knees automatically bend. Make sure her cone is all the way down to the floor so that you can't see her legs. Keyframes can record changes to anything, even tweak menu settings. So, just for visual flair, let's also make her glow. Hover over Connie's cone, hold L1 and press square to open its tweak menu. Because we're scoped in, this opens the tweak menu for the sculpture itself, rather than the puppet. All the settings on this page change the way Connie's cone looks. Look for the glow slider on the first page. Its icon is a sun. Raise the glow up to about 40%.
No.
Once you've set the glow, select Stop Recording in the Context menu to store the changes to the keyframe. You can close the tweak menu now too. Just hover over it, hold L1 and press circle. Select the keyframe gadget with X to preview what's been recorded.
Wait.
To activate the crouch, we're going to connect it to Connie's controller sensor.
No.
Right, we're on to as you do or 70% over it. To activate the crouch, we're going to connect it to Connie's controller sensor. If you've closed her microchip...
Fuck.
Right, we're on to the final obstacle. As you do. Notice that her knees automatically L1 itself rather than the puppet. All the settings on this page change the way Connie's cone looks. Look for the glow slider on the first page. Its icon is a sun. Raise the glow up to about 40%. Once you've set the glow, select Stop Recording in the Context menu to store the changes to the keyframe. You can close the tweak menu now too. Just hover over it, hold L1 and press circle. Select the keyframe gadget with X to preview what's been recorded. Looks good. Deselect the keyframe by pressing circle. In the next step, hold L1 and press circle. Select the keyframe gadget with X to preview what's been recorded. Looks good. Deselect the keyframe by pressing circle. In the next step, we'll continue building Connie's slam attack. Hold L1 and press U to 6%. Once you've set the glow, select Stop Recording in the Context menu to store the changes to the keyframe. You can close the tweak menu now too. Just hover over it, hold L1 and press circle. Select the keyframe gadget with X to preview what's been recorded. Looks good. Deselect the keyframe by pressing circle. In the next step, we'll we'll continue building Connie's slam attack.
Okay, finally done with that video. We're gonna finish this and I'll stop recording so I don't
The
want to
next
bore you guys.
step is to place our new Connie animation into a timeline. Using a timeline will let us time the animations and effects of the slam attack. Go to the Assembly menu and back to the Animate menu. Select the timeline with X. Hover over Connie's microchip and stamp a timeline above the crouch keyframe. Now let's open the timeline canvas with L1 and X. The slam attack should be a really quick animation. So adjust the canvas so it's only 1 second long. Any longer and it won't feel snappy enough. Hover over the edge of the timeline canvas so that a white line appears along it. You'll also see a white double-ended arrow appear next to the edge. By your imp, fill slam attack timeline with X. Hover over Connie's microchip and stamp a timeline above the crouch keyframe. Now let's open the timeline canvas with L1 and X. The slam attack should be a really quick animation. So adjust the canvas so it's only 1 second long. Any longer and it won't feel snappy enough. Hover over the edge of the timeline canvas so that a white line appears along it. You'll also see a white double-ended arrow appear next to the edge. By your imp. When you see this, grab the edge of the canvas with X. Move your imp to shorten the timeline to 1 second. Make sure you don't select the trim button by mistake. It's a square button by the numbers at the top of the timeline. It has a black arrow on it. The timeline duration is now correct, but the space is very small. So let's zoom in a bit. Hover your imp over the timeline canvas, hold L1 and press the right directional button to zoom in. This will keep the timeline duration to 1 second long, but stretch the space so that you can fit more detail into it. If you need to zoom out, just hold L1 and press the left directional button. Now let's put our slam attack keyframe onto the timeline. Grab the keyframe with R2 and place it at the start of the timeline canvas. Make sure you've got the slam keyframe and not the crouch one. The gadget automatically snaps to the surface of the canvas. The keyframe is only a fraction of a second long at the moment, but we need it to fill the length of the timeline. So hover over the keyframe and hold the up directional button to scale it. Make it the same length as the timeline. Now we want to wire the timeline up to a button press, just like we did with the crouch. Move the timeline canvas so that you can see the controller sensor and the timeline gadget. Open the controller sensor tweak menu with L1 and square. I'm going to use L1 as the slam attack button. Hover over the output port of the L1 button and press X to create a wire. Stretch the wire down to the timeline gadget and connect it to the power port on the bottom. You can now use the L1 button to perform Connie's slam attack. Give it a try in play mode. At the moment, it's just an animation, so it's not going to do anything to the blocks. But in the next step, I'll show you how to add some force to it. When you're ready to continue, return to edit mode, rewind time, and start the next step.
I can just not let go of the button.
The slam attack animation is all set up, but it's not doing much besides looking cool. So we need to add a gadget to our timeline that will emit a force when Connie slams the ground. The gadget we're going to use for this is the force applier. Go to the assembly menu and open the gadgets menu. Find the move as an output menu and open it with X. The icon for the force applier looks like a gust of wind. Select it with X to our timeline that will emit a force when Connie slams the ground. The gadget we're going to use for this is the force applier.